What do you call a spider with 8 eyes?
Spider with it. I don't know.
Spider.
When does a joke become a dad joke? When it's apparent.
What has 5 toes but isn't your foot?
I don't know.
My foot.
I like that one. Hi, I'm Mike. I am the superintendent of Loveland City School District, and I will be starting my 5th year. Well, the community of Loveland is unique in that it is a very tight community, and it is always easy to see if you're doing well or maybe you need to improve on things, but at the end of the day, the community of Loveland is a very giving community. In any time that we have a family in need or any need that we may have for students, the community always steps up and takes care of it. So it's a great community to be a part of, and I always say it is a large community that feels small.
Mike, just want to thank you so much for being here, coming out on this beautiful day in Loveland, Ohio. And how's everything going?
Going real well. We're wrapping up the school year. It's been a very good year, and we just had graduation this past Sunday. It was awesome. The kids always do a great job, and I'm always impressed by how well they can speak in front of people, a lot easier than I can. But it's gone well. We're finishing up this Friday with all of our students, and it's been a really, really good year in Loveland.
I think I saw yesterday it was your 38th graduation. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And I've attended them all. It's a ceremony that I really enjoy because it's a culmination of a lot of work for a lot of people. And it's always just very, very nice to see just our kids celebrating, and especially in Loveland, when you look at the graduation ceremony, you realize the responsibility you have with these students when you have all the parents and the grandparents out there, and they're such good people, and it's just a really good ceremony.
Yeah, and I will say that it's great people from the bottom all the way to the top. It really is. So always impressed. So why don't you take a minute and just, you're the superintendent for Loveland Schools. Why are you a superintendent, for starters? Why in Loveland? And then why don't you take a minute about some things that are going on with Loveland Schools that you want to share. This is your time, so you share.
All right, I will do that. Well, this is my 38th year in education. I taught high school math, all the way from general math up to calculus and some computer science for about 15 years, and coached football and basketball. I really didn't think I was going to do anything but that. I loved teaching, and then I was at a district up in Cleveland called North Royalton. Was growing. It's a like district to Loveland. It's very similar, and because it was growing, they asked me to be the dean of discipline, so I could take care of students and the behaviors, and so I did that for a year. Enjoyed it, and they asked me to become an assistant principal, which I didn't think I would ever want to do, but because I was worried about getting further away from students, but it allowed me to work with the kids that really needed some guidance, and so I did that. And then my wife and I moved to Cincinnati. I was at Lakota East High School for years, an assistant principal, then went to Forest Hills as the principal at Anderson, which was fantastic, loved every minute of that, and then assistant superintendent at Forest Hills for quite a few years. And to culminate my career, I said, what's it like to be a superintendent? So we found the best community we could find, which is Loveland. I consider myself extremely blessed throughout my entire career, but very blessed to land here in Loveland. And in terms of why, it's just a great community. I've been in a lot of communities. This is probably the tightest community when it comes to service and people serving. So it's been enjoyable. And what's happening right now, is that the other part you asked for?
Yes, sir.
What's happening right now is we're kind of winding up and making sure our students are good for the summer, ready to go, getting some of our summer programs going. What we do in the district office right now, it kind of cranks up for us when it comes to hiring, making sure we have the correct staff, and just doing a lot of the preparation work so that we can, believe it or not, start next year.
It's definitely me personally. I really appreciate everything you do. In my opinion, you're a great face. for Loveland schools and things like that. You do a good job. I don't want you to get a big head, but people have nice things to say about you. You might not have heard them, but they do.
Well, I appreciate you saying great face. I don't get that very often. So,
right.
Yeah, but
so
thank you.
I grew up in chalkboards and overheads and chalk and mimeograph machines, which is my personal favorite. So in the years that you've been in education, what do you think is the biggest thing has changed in your time?
It's a great question. I think what hasn't changed is students and learning, no matter what the modality is. If you treat kids with respect, the kids are going to treat you with respect, and that hasn't changed. But we were talking earlier, we're pretty similar in age, and so I was right there with you. And when I was teaching math, you saw graphics calculators where teachers thought that was going to be the end of education because
right.
kids can now play Tetris on their calculator. You had pagers where we were worried about kids having pagers, and then it moved on. It just keeps moving, and it's never going to stop. And so you try not to focus on what the equipment is, but how to use it properly. And so I think the biggest change, no question, is technology. Throughout the whole scope of education, delivering education, when it comes to students and behaviors, monitoring cell phones and different things like that, because a lot of your social issues come out of some of the social media, and so monitoring that. And we've been able to, for K through 8 next year, we have a no cell phone policy in any part of the building, and then at the high school it's no cell phones except at lunch. And so we're trying to monitor that and make sure our kids are learning properly. And but the biggest change is, and the other thing is the wealth of knowledge that's right there in your palm. Teachers, we used to give out facts, and now the facts are here. Right. So what are you going to do with the facts is what you have to really figure out.
Yeah, that's great. How long have you been in Loveland?
It's been 4 years. I'm finishing up my 4th year, and the first couple of years we were kind of focused on funding and making sure we're getting things back on track. I think we've done a really good job. We have an amazing staff, and we're just keep plugging away.
So tell me, what do you love about Loveland?
Well, first and foremost, the school community. It is set up for learning. The grade banding is set up perfectly. We're able to run a really tight ship when it comes to financially. But that aside, the whole community has been nothing but supportive of the schools, but also when my wife and I, we love to come downtown and we like to go to the different restaurants, and people are just so nice. And we have a hashtag. My first year came up with a hashtag, Be Loveland, where love is capitalized. Love what you do, love the kids, just love being here. And Loveland is a pretty cool name, but it's also just the tightest knit community I've been a part of. And I think to be effective as a superintendent, you need to be a part of the community, a strong part of the community, and we try and do that as much as we can. And I have just seen so many, like yourself, so many people that are willing to give for our kids. And it's every district will say they're different. For some reason, we're different because we're Loveland. We're different because people love this community.
Yeah, and I agree with you totally. This is a community of passionate people. It really is, and it shows. And it shows in the schools. It shows in the downtown community. It shows in the businesses, the organizations. So, yeah, I agree with you 100% on that for sure. So it's Friday night. So what are you? So you come downtown on Friday night,
Yeah,
you got a favorite spot? We'll give a shameless plug here. So.
Well, Friday night, I don't mind after school. There's DVD Brew, which is not necessarily downtown, but we might stop in there. But my wife and I will come down the E&O restaurant. We've popped in a couple times, and just all the different restaurants down here. But we also love the parade, the homecoming parade, the July 4th parade. We try and get down here for as many functions as we possibly can, because it's just fun to see people. But there's a lot of positive energy, I guess is the best way to describe it. A lot of good positive energy.
I agree 100%. Well, 100%. I really appreciate you being here and taking the time. I know you're a busy guy with you're juggling a lot of textbooks or whatever they juggle, or whatever they juggle these days.
We don't have textbooks, but I appreciate it, and I know I've told you this many times, and you were our business partner of the year last year we recognized, but the amount of philanthropy you do for our district is very, very appreciated. What you do for our kids. There are many things that you fund that I don't know and I hear about later, but I know esports, and you've done a lot of things for our staff. So I appreciate it very much.
Well, I appreciate the comments, and we'll make sure that doesn't make the reel.
Favorite part of Loveland, I think the downtown area is great. My wife and I go down there quite a bit, and we just enjoy popping in and eating there, going to some of the other establishments. But the greatest thing for me to be a superintendent of an excellent school district is just to be able to be here and to be able to serve a community that appreciates servant leadership. And I also love the fact that our staff is just all in. Every one of our staff members, about 65% of them live in the community. They're all in. They're all in for our kids. They're all in for Loveland, and I love being a part of that.
So, Mike, I understand that you had a finance question for us that maybe we can take a look at and get you a decent answer to.
Sure, I appreciate it. We've been blessed to have our first grandchild, and we also had our youngest daughter graduate from college this past month, and so a lot of great things going on, but it also lends itself to finances when it's a young person. What advice would you give the parents of our new granddaughter, or what advice would you give our daughter who just graduated college for finance?
Yeah, so one of my favorite things that my dad did for me when I was a kid is he instilled the 1/3 rule. So basically any money that I earned from, say, a birthday party or my baptism or anywhere that you receive money, what we did is 1/3 I was allowed to spend on whatever I wanted, and then 1/3 I saved for like long-term purchases. So as a teenager, maybe that's a car,
Sure.
or as a child, maybe that's like a new bike. And then the last third you put into a retirement account, and you just don't touch that for, I guess, 65 plus years if you're a baby.
Right.
And yeah, so I think that's a really good place to start.
Good, that's good advice. So we'll let their parents know.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would add to that is that, the greatest asset that a young person has is time, okay? It takes a very little bit of money put away on a regular basis and leave it alone for you to be in a very good place by the time you get to retirement, right? I always tell people, you put away $100 a month for like 40 years, you end up with, you put away about $55,000 over that time, but you end up with like $650,000.
Right.
And that's literally just $100 a month.
Right.
So as you get older, you start getting involved in 401ks and employer matches. And so you end up putting away more than $100 a month. So that $600,000 number becomes a much bigger number.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
There's a study out there that shows if you put $2,000 into an account, say when you're 20, and then you don't add any more money, your account will be higher than if someone who is, say, 40 puts like $2,000 a year into their account, just because the younger person had all of that time to have compound interest. They end up finishing farther ahead than the person who waited.
Right. Well, I think that's great advice. Time is your biggest asset. As you get older, you realize that too. But I think that's great advice for our daughter who just graduated college. She's looking at what she can do and investing. And I think time is an asset.
Mike, I really want to tell you how much I appreciate your time. Thanks for being here once again. I know you're a busy guy. I'm well aware how busy you are. So the fact that you took some time out this morning to join us is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
I appreciate it very much. And this is the time of the day I enjoy. I enjoy talking to people like yourself who help the schools so much. And Caitlin, I appreciate everything you do for us. And it was a pleasure being here.
All right, fantastic.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.